Hey guys, Colby here. Welcome back to another video. We have some news coming in from the developers today, and we're gonna go over them because they really do affect the game and how the balance is gonna look like for the future of the game. We can get started. It's some news announcements about every single part of the game right now that feels relevant, and that is the endgame progression that we have. So what is endgame progression? When you reach a point in, I don't know, depends on how much you spend, you want to be pushing for Classic Arena, right? Classic Arena all the way to Platinum. Right now, this feels outdated, in my opinion. We didn't even used to have Classic Arena. We didn't have Tier 5, by the way, guys. If you are like the veterans, you know this. But the Platinum tier right now, only minimum amount of players of, I believe, 500 can reach this. I don't believe that they've changed it more than that. And here in the Platinum tier, the problem that many players face is the Arena weekly reset. This is basically different from players on each side of the world because of the time the Arena resets for you. My time, the Arena resets is at 9 a.m. on a Monday. Not so bad compared to other players who is like 3 to 4 a.m. Especially, I believe, American players have that kind of problem. They have to really wake up early in order to compete. And what they wanted to address there was whether there could be a rotation of multiple time zones. And the developers mentioned that this is not technically possible. However, the team might be revisiting it in terms of shifting it maybe at least once per month. That can be introduced in the future. I think that this could be a nice way to go about it. But I also think their other idea where they've mentioned they're going to look into the blind reset idea where participants' names would be hidden during the Platinum Rush. And this would basically provide a little bit more of a, I would say, surprise aspect into how you push. Because currently you can see all the teams and names of players, and basically you can skip on specific clans just because of the name of the player there. Some players, what they would do during reset, guys, if you've never seen this before, is they would actually put a different name and a different clan in there to try to mess with people's minds. Sometimes the whole clan would change their names to a single player, just so you would see just one player's name there and you wouldn't know the defending player's account at the moment. So this basically forced people to just either completely skip that clan or just target maybe a specific defense that they fought before and they knew only because of the team power or maybe the position of champions in there. Very weird kind of strategies, but that is the end game of Classic Arena, honestly. And some people like it. I don't really like it personally because it's just a pit of spending money, endless pit of spending money, and players here in the Platinum tier are just kind of insane in that aspect, going like over 1 million in terms of defense is quite nuts. So the next point that the developers wanted to address, guys, is the clan siege and how defense teams are placed at the moment. Some defense teams are placed in slots where they are during the siege before, and the plans that the developers have is to slightly modify it for future updates where the defense teams will no longer remain in the fortress post, though they will still remain in the building, which I'm not sure what that means. More improvements for siege are still in the works, but for now we cannot share any specifics. It's like a problem I have with the developers at the moment is that they push different content, and honestly, guys, it feels like the content that the game pushes is not play tested, or the people who play tested don't know how to play the game. Very, very brutally honest with this one. They play the game maybe an hour a week or something. We have players out there who play the game for hours upon hours every day for years now that could voluntarily enter into an NDA with player. I'm not talking about content creators. Players out there who just want to maybe have an access to features that are coming in the future. They could be vetted, have an NDA, and if things are released, they could face, whatever. They would still gladly do it as part of just loving the game and how things work, and they would just enjoy playing their accounts in like a test server environment and testing things out for them and giving feedback. Or you can actually pay people who are competent enough to do it so that things don't launch with bugs, such as the Chimira that we just recently had with the billions and upon billions of damage. But anyway, let's go on to the next part. So lethal dose and incinerate in Siege. So as they say, as we previously announced, the developers have agreed with you and plan to adjust these blessings to use them in the Siege. These blessings will begin to be working as intended within the next patch in January. We know how many of you are still looking forward to dynamic Siege battles, and this improvement is step in that direction to more dynamic Siege battles. I don't know what do they mean by dynamic. Maybe it's just a translation error in their part. So what are these blessings, guys, and how would they affect us? So lethal dose is what poisons can do in arena battles, and what they say is to change this basically is for it to work on Siege, because currently this blessing is dead if you use it. And the same thing goes for incinerate, which is HP burns, and more specifically there's a mythical champion that does like really good damage. Gizmak does really good damage because he basically applies HP burns at the start of the battle, and that can be huge in terms of just going through Stone Skin. Because of that, plus that incinerate blessing, it just makes things work. And then there's other teams using Calvalax. Actually, from what I've seen, they use Calvalax with the other blessing that I've mentioned, and because Calvalax applies poisons at the start of the round, it basically kills enemies immediately and can work very, very well in arena battles, specific arena battles, that is. So it's pretty interesting that they're going to adjust this for just the Siege and not do anything about the auras for Siege, because many auras currently that work only in arenas do not work for Siege, although they did work at the start, and this was a huge bug, again with the bugs. So hopefully developers see these kind of videos and understand that, you know, maybe you need to step it up, guys. So Chimira area bonuses. So there's no plans to add area bonuses for Chimera in the foreseeable future. If you need to improve other areas and upgrade your bonuses there, you can focus on that instead. So this goes directly opposite to what I kept saying to you guys in my videos. If you have been watching my videos on the channel, you guys know that I've been trying to stock up on crests. When I do play on my account for live arena, I try to stock these up. After I've put in some work, nothing too crazy into live arena. I find live arena extremely boring because of the time it takes. And the grind aspect plus the lose aspect, where you lose completely, you get 0 crest basically on losses. You could get at least maybe 10. That would be nice. But the fact is that I don't trust them that they won't add it 4 months from now, the same way that they've added Sand Devil, Phantom Shogun, Curse City. Curse City, basically they've added this a week after it was launched. I think one reason why they've mentioned this is because they already see that players have not fully upgraded this, which is crazy to think. You can't fully upgrade this. Even the top end game players don't have it fully upgraded, I believe. But what I do know it's gonna happen, they're gonna add it. If it's not now, it's gonna be 6 months from now. And if you don't have the minimum, which is like 10,000 live arena crest, you won't be able to fully develop, let's say, the ignore defense for the Chimera. As a player who understands how useful this damage can be, the ignore defense, 20% is insane. It's a savage set almost. So thinking of it like that, farming the minimum, which is 10,000, I would say 30,000 could be the minimum for you guys. 30 or 30,000, something a little bit extra than 30,000, 32,000, I believe is the number. So you can do ignore defense, speed, crit damage. That basically boosts your damage by insane amounts, and speed is huge in this game. And then you can actually forgo going all the way for speed and then go for the rest of the bonuses here. Accuracy, resistance, defense, attack, HP. All of those are going to help you survive. And you guys know how difficult it is to survive the Chimera for some instances, but because the Chimera is a timed event, and what I mean by that, Chimera as an encounter, I can't show you guys because the reset is going to happen in 19 hours. Can't go into the fight. But what I mean by timed event is that we have 65 turns only to do as much damage as possible. So it's not about whether we can survive, because we can't survive with different teams at the moment. So the defensive stats are kind of on the back burner compared to what you want to have is just to front load your damage dealers and get them to do 100% of the damage that they can possible without, let's say, the need of a weakened debuff or a defense down even. I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon because of the high defense that the bosses have, but at least with just the defense down, being able to cap out is ideal. So maybe you can start going for different combos that do not require, let's say, a weakened debuff to be present as well, for you to be maxing out with every hit. Let's say with the Acrisias, I've showcased this team yesterday, where I did 274 million damage on the Chimera. So as I said, although they do mention that they don't have any plans because they've seen already teams doing 3, 4, 5, 6 times the cap damage for Ultra Nightmare, they do say, guys, we're not going to be launching it anytime soon. Again, I don't believe them. I'm going to be saving these life crests. I don't have any area in the game where I could care to put any points in. I can farm everything else on maximum. Even Curse City, I can farm it on my account, which I don't have like the best champions. It's just some stages I have to do on manual. Nothing changes if I basically boost the speed to 20. Nothing is going to change for the account, so I'm not going to care so much about that. Next point, implementation timeframes for teased features. We are working diligently to bring you all the features that we teased in the What's Next video, and that is background battles, live arena seasons, Hydra quick battles, and campaign super raids within the next 3 to 4 months. That is quite extreme. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I expected it last patch. When the Chimera was out, I thought everything was gonna be included in the What's Next, but it was just empty promises from their part. I think their most difficult thing that they want to be implementing is the background battles, which I don't know if you guys played other games that do have background battles. Basically, what you do is, instead of just going into, let's say, the fight here and watching everything happen, you just click multi-battle, click on background battles, and you wouldn't see the screen. But basically what is happening is the game is still running what you see right now, but on the background. So if your team takes like 15 seconds, 13 seconds, whatever, to clear it, it's still gonna take that, but you're gonna get like a screen in the end of, let's say, your 10 runs. Let's say your 10 runs take 10 minutes. I'm gonna make the maths easy. 10 minutes later, you can click on it and collect all your rewards without actually having to be in that screen. Ideally, background battles should work, and then we can also do other things such as arena. Ideally, they didn't say this is going to happen though, but ideally they implement it like that, because come on, we have 93 different things to do every single day within the game, and some of these things takes hours, such as the Hydra keys. Okay, not every single day, because the Hydra keys and Chimera, these deplete, but everything else is basically a daily thing, which is quite insane in terms of time spent. Raid is requiring so much time, and for a mobile first, this was initially launched on mobile, this is quite insane. The time we spend in the game right now is just too much, and they need to save us sooner rather than later, because it's just too much. Hydra quick battles, that is very easy to implement. It's basically like what the clan boss is, so I'm not sure what's the delay there. Live arena seasons, I think, is the biggest thing, which I don't mind having that delay for 4 months. And then campaign super raids, come on, this is not a thing that has to be delayed. You just literally double the cost here, double the rewards, and call it a day. I don't see why there's a problem there. So finally, artifact storage and accessory storage. Honestly, artifacts, I'm kind of okay with the storage at the moment. I reached this part with 1,400. Sometimes I keep more things than other times. There's some sets that I completely started selling and don't care about anymore. That's how the game goes, because there's just beginner sets, mid-game sets, and then you reach a point where like the immortal set doesn't work for you anymore. It does nothing, although it's still difficult to get there. The cruel set maybe doesn't have a point. Once you reach the point where you honestly start farming merciless gear and the 9-piece merciless comes into play, many sets go out the window, and all those energies that you spent, especially if you spend money on it, basically goes out the window, because merciless is a free set. Insane. But to get there, to be able to farm this consistently, you have to farm the prerequisite sets. Quite insane. My thoughts. This gear is fine, but they'll increase it by 100. This The accessories, I'm having real trouble with accessories because there's so many different sets that I have to keep track of. There's 15 factions. They're gonna be adding the 16th, I believe, by the end of next year. So 2025 going into 2026, I believe, when the next faction is coming, because that's gonna come. They have it in plan for sure. If that's not coming, maybe 2026. But by then, there's gonna be so many games competing for raids share of the market. They need to step it up if they want to be relevant, and especially now that they've been acquired, they also need to reach some specific targets in order for them to get more money. So well, at least plan to get more money. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do, but they need to keep the players satisfied. So I'm not sure what they're changing. The plan is that they'll implement a large scale storage upgrade that won't compromise game performance. The game performance is okay, but it used to be way worse, that the game would lag out just because of the storage that you'll have. So we'll see on how that works out. But yeah, accessories, I have a real big problem with. Honestly, 5-star accessories, I need to start selling, but I have a lot of sets, stone skin and protection for this. So that's what basically is stopping me. Oh, this one escaped. That's what's basically stopping me right now from just having more space here. And I basically farm 0 pinpoint, by the way, which would have added a lot to my stockpiles of gear. So that was it, guys, from the developers. I wanted to make this video just to get you guys an idea of what they are discussing with the Supreme Club. The Supreme Club, if you guys didn't know, is the club with all the huge spenders. If you are one part of it, you're gonna see like a button here that tells you just. I've seen it before, and it's basically just like a news tab here, and that's how it works. I don't know if they get extra access to other stuff. I don't really care. Honestly, it looks very weird to me. They should have just had that as part of everyone's game. But yeah, that's it, guys, for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below on what all these changes or the lack of changes coming in from the developers. Thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.